Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS in.form. This weekend, another big Christmas weekend. We just had the Christmas stroll in Huntingburg. Now it's time for the Christkindlmarkt in Ferdinand. Joining us in the studio is Marc Steczyk, who is involved many ways from the... Were you with the original Christkindlmarkt?
I wasn't. So this is the 25th Christkindlmarkt, Bill.
Well, they must have thought you were older than I.
So don't let the gray beard fool you. But no, I was actually thinking about that on the way in. So I think we moved back here 15 years ago, and I've probably been involved with 12 of the past Christkindlmarkts.
What a magical event that Ferdinand has with that Christkindlmarkt.
It really is. And, you know, this is something that 25 years ago began just in the community center alone, and it has expanded to 6 locations across all of Ferdinand, like north, south, east, west. Has a free shuttle service that you can park at one location and get a free ride around and make your way to all the locations. Or if you get tired after a couple locations and you want to go back, there's convenient walking paths and sidewalks, and it's just really kind of grown into its own thing. Right.
Now, let's talk about each day. Friday night, it kicks off, and then Saturday, Sunday, if you would.
Yeah, Friday night, the 18th at 6:30 at the beautiful Monastery Immaculate Conception is the kickoff event where the Christkindl angel announces the opening of the marts, and it's a beautiful ceremony. We do anticipate that it might be a little chilly at 6:30, so we'd encourage people to bundle up, but there'll be a bunch of kids and a bunch of people, and that's always just kind of a magical opening to the actual weekend itself. On Saturday and Sunday, Saturday from 9 to 5, Sunday from 10 to 4, there are over 200 booths of handmade goods and foods and things like that across 6 locations, and those locations are the Ferdinand Community Center, the Ferdinand American Legion, the Monastery Event Hall, which is just outside of St. Benedict's Brew Works for the husbands of that might not be doing some shopping, the Forest Park High School, which has 4 locations in and of itself, so it's kind of the hub of activity. The Clement Mary Longy YMCA, which was formerly the Tri-County YMCA, so people understand that. And then also the Ferdinand Elementary, the gym will be full of wares and goods.
It is amazing. It started in the community center, and now, 25 years later, you've got all those locations.
Yeah. And the amazing thing to me is, you know, I've got a young family, or my kids are twins and they're 11, and we can just walk out of our door. And obviously, we live in the center of Ferdinand, right? But we can walk the entire route. Now, they might start complaining at the end of it, but it's not a terribly cumbersome walk to be able to go to all of these places.
Especially if you've got bags full of stuff, which is kind of the idea of going to the Christkindlmarkt, because there's such a variety. There's gifts, there's decorations for all year round. There's just a wide variety of stuff.
Yeah, if you know, it's before Thanksgiving, so it is appropriate timing to start getting in the spirit. And if you come to Ferdinand Christkindlmarkt and you do not walk away in the spirit, might be some holiday issues with you, right?
Right.
You can't help it.
What sort of entertainment goes on? Shopping in itself, we don't want to push away from the shopping, because a lot of people understand the Christkindlmarkt is a vendor mart that is juried, so it's select items that are there.
Handmade goods.
Yeah, and handmade, yes. And so it's wonderful that way. But there's also some side things like the entertainment.
Yeah, so there's the Glockenspiel at the auditorium both days, which is all live Glockenspiel, which is always very entertaining. Marionette Theater both days, very entertaining for kids. There's a reindeer meet and greet, I think, at the Ferdinand Library. Ferdinand Library with, that's a kids event, and I think it's just on Saturday. At each location, because this is the 25th anniversary, if weather allows and it's not too cold, there are going to be strolling musicians greeting people and as they come and go. And then our I don't know if you'd call it a crown event, but a crown jewel of Saturday evening as far as performances are concerned. We're going to have members of the Evansville Philharmonic Orchestra, specifically the Shepherd's Brass Quintet and their chorus, come and perform at, again, the beautiful Monastery Immaculate Conception for a free Sounds of the Season concert at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll last about an hour or so. And that is limited parking. It's limited seating as well. But we will have shuttles running from St. Ferdinand Church's parking lot up to the convent.
What time do you suggest people show up at the Christkindlmarkt?
Well, yeah. So I would say peak times each day are going to be noon to 2 or 3. You know, so if bigger crowds are something that you are not necessarily wanting to participate in, it might be ideal to not come during that time. But slower times, if you will, Sunday tends to be a little bit slower than Saturday. That day would be great if you would like to see smaller crowds. But morning and late, I would say, if you want to not get swept up in a crowd.
Who should be coming to the Christkindlmarkt, or who does come to the Christkindlmarkt?
I was going to say, who shouldn't come to the Christkindlmarkt, Bill? I don't know what kind of question that was, but no, I think it's a good thing for people that want to get some of their shopping done for Christmas, but it's also a good thing for families and to bring your kids out. I mean, there's going to be food at each locations. There's going to be 6 Indiana wineries that are going to be sprinkled throughout the locations as well. So I think it's just a good time for the family. I mean, just pretty much everyone in your family.
What does the Christkindlmarkt mean to Ferdinand?
Well, I can tell you, not from the work that I do with the Christkindlmarkt, but from the work that I had done previously with the town of Ferdinand. I mean, it transforms the town of a town of 2,200-ish to, I mean, who knows over the course of that weekend. I mean, you have thousands of people descending upon a town, tour buses, those type of things. So it's not only good for the economy of Ferdinand, but it's good for Dubois County and Dubois County tourism, because you have a lot of people coming in that are occupying hotel rooms during a time of year when Holiday World is shut down, when those hotel rooms aren't necessarily booked to the hilt. So I think it's not just a great thing for the town of Ferdinand, but it's a great thing for our region.
If somebody wants more information about the Christkindlmarkt, something we didn't cover, just to kind of reaffirm times, or I guess even a list maybe of vendors, where there's a website. Yeah,
they have everything on FerdinandChristkindlmarkt.com.
Which is spelled funny.
Yes, so FerdinandChristKindlmarkt.com. They are also doing a very good job this year of social media on Facebook, and that is at Christkindlmarkt, or at Ferdinand Christkindlmarkt.
Okay, now I know the answer to this question. What's it cost?
It's free.
It's free.
Yeah. It's free. Admission to all the buildings, the shuttle, all those things are free. The concert at the Sisters of St. Benedict, of course, we are going to ask for goodwill donations for that, because those will go to benefit the sisters themselves on Saturday evening. But everything else is free except for the food and the wares
that you would purchase.
That's right.
So if you're going to purchase, do you have to have cash? What does most people take where you slide your card on their phone?
So I would think cash would be preferred, but that there will be vendors that certainly can take credit cards as well.
Of course, and there are banks in Ferdinand that you can stop and get some cash that way if you need to.
Yeah.
Plenty of food. I know the Ferdinand Legion does a special bratwurst plate that they do on, I think, Saturday.
Yeah, there's plenty of food options at each of the locations, actually, and I think maybe Ferdinand Elementary will have food trucks outside, or they have in the past. So it's a good way of supporting local nonprofits that have these booths, especially in Forest Park. They've been there. Those vendors have been there for a long time, but throughout the stops as well.
Now, you mentioned Forest Park. Is there a certain door you need to go in at Forest Park? Or are they many? Because if you've got 4 locations inside that place.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly they're all open, because the auditorium area is where the Glockenspiel is, and then that's directly by the lower commons, which there's also vendors there, and that's in the vicinity of the stairs that go up to the PE gym and then the old gym. But then also the cafeteria side is open because we have vendors there, and then the old gym entrance is a shuttle stop.
I'm glad you keep pushing the shuttle, because the one thing is there's plenty of parking, like around Forest Park, at the community center.
Oh, yeah.
But, if you want a shuttle, it's just so much easier. You may park and think, I got to walk a long way to get someplace. No, the shuttles are right there.
Yeah, and they're moving, and they're on a schedule, and you won't have to wait very long for a shuttle.
Okay, now there is something else that we need everybody to practice, and that would be patience, because there is so much traffic through Ferdinand that day. What is it? They say only take right turns?
Yeah, and I think a lot of them are set up to only take right turns. it's because that once somebody starts turning left, everything gets backed up. But they've got it down. They've 25 years of doing anything. You learn from not necessarily mistakes, but just experience. You gain experience, and they've done a really good job of making it as efficient and safe and just as good of an experience as possible.
And over 200 vendors.
Over 200 vendors.
Most of which I think are repeat vendors. So
yeah, I would say a lot of them.
That people can, if there's something, maybe there's a set of ornaments that you always buy.
Yeah.
That vendor's probably going to be there selling them again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of these vendors also take orders. Because some things you do some custom
Yeah, because a lot of it's custom work, and it's handmade, so it's the nature of it is custom, right? So you're not going to see anywhere else where there's this many vendors packed in one location of handmade goods and artisans, and it's just a good experience.
With the variety that's there.
With the variety, for sure.
Ornaments, jewelry, decorations, clothing, food.
Almost anything you can think of, you'll find at least one vendor.
And it'll be at the Ferdinand Christkindlmarkt this weekend. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think we're good. I think that the most important thing, if you want a detailed schedule, go to FerdinandChristkindlmarkt.com, and that's where all the information is. Okay,
and yes, it'll be a great Christmas weekend. The weather will be making it feel like it is the holiday season, so you may want to bundle up. And if you do, wear it in layers because it'll be cold outside. Once you go inside, it gets a little warm.
That's right.
So keep that in mind as well.
But the forecast is calling for sun, so it
always feels good.
Yeah, as long as it's sunny and there's not much wind, it's a decent environment.
That's right. Perfect. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Hope to see you at the Ferdinand Christkindlmarkt. It's this weekend. Starts Friday night. The vendors aren't open then, but that's when the show and the Christkindlmarkt kickoff, the opening ceremonies.
That's it.
Is on Friday night. Saturday and Sunday is the event in earnest. Again, 9 to 5 Saturday, 10 to 4 Sunday.
That's
Did I get that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. I hope to see you. Marc Steczyk has been our guest here on the WJTS in.form program. We are local people watching local people.